When a man or woman decides to step out of the noise of the world for even 30 days, something extraordinary happens. Not because the world changes, but because you change. You see, most people live as prisoners of distraction. Their eyes are chained to glowing screens, their ears flooded with opinions, and their minds scattered across the trivial. They mistake movement for progress, attention for importance, and comfort for happiness. And yet, when you decide to disappear, not to run, not to escape, but to reforge yourself, you tap into a secret that the great builders of history knew: solitude is the birthplace of transformation. Think of Thomas Edison. The man who gave light to the world was not found at parties or lost in chatter. He disappeared into his lab, sometimes for days without rest, testing idea after idea, failing more than 1,000 times before the bulb was born. Henry Ford did not create the automobile revolution while entertaining critics. He turned away from the noise, buried himself in discipline, and carved out an empire of steel and wheels. Walt Disney was mocked, ridiculed, told he lacked imagination. So he disappeared into his drawing board, and when he returned, the world saw a mouse, a castle, and a kingdom of dreams that would outlive him. This is what happens when you vanish for 30 days with purpose. You don't come back the same. The people who doubted you will barely recognize the fire in your eyes. The hesitation in your step will be gone. You will return not as the same person who left, but as a force sharpened, disciplined, and ready. But let me warn you, disappearance is not just about hiding away. If you simply close the door and waste those days in idle escape, you will return weaker, not stronger. True transformation demands that those 30 days be sacred, intentional, and forged in fire. This is not retreat, this is recalibration. It is not about the world losing you. It is about you finding yourself. In those days, you must declare war on mediocrity. You must cut away every distraction, every excuse, every chain of weakness that has held you down. Your mornings must begin with clarity, not chaos. You rise before the world stirs, and you sit in silence until your mind is your own. For 30 days, you pour into your body discipline, into your mind wisdom, and into your soul vision. Understand this: clarity is a weapon. Without it, you are lost in fog, wandering in circles, chasing shadows. But when you disappear with intention, the fog lifts. You see where you must go. You hear your own voice again, the voice that has been drowned out by the shouts of others. That voice is your compass, your power, your truth. Abraham Lincoln, in his darkest hours, withdrew into silence. He would walk alone at night, wrestling with doubt, wrestling with destiny. And yet, when he returned, he carried within him the conviction that would hold a fractured nation together. He was not made strong in the applause of the crowd, but in the solitude of thought. For 30 days, you too must face yourself. That is the real battle. Not the world, not your enemies, but the man or woman in the mirror. That reflection has grown complacent, comfortable, perhaps even broken. But when you choose to disappear, you drag that self into the fire and you burn away the weakness until only steel remains. Do you know why most people never rise? Because they are afraid of silence. They cannot sit alone with their thoughts, for their thoughts reveal the truth of wasted years and wasted potential. So they bury themselves in noise, in entertainment and endless scrolling, convincing themselves they are alive while their dreams rot inside them. But you are different. You have felt the hunger. You know there is something inside you greater than what you have shown. That hunger is why you must disappear. Discipline is the price of rebirth. For 30 days, you eat with restraint, you speak with intention, you move with purpose. You cut away the excess, strip down to the essential, and in that discipline you find freedom. You do not chase dopamine, you chase mastery. You do not wait for motivation, you create momentum. Picture this: on the 31st day when you return, people will not know what has happened. They will say, "You've changed." They will see the way you stand taller, the way your words carry conviction, the way your presence demands respect. They won't know about the nights you wrestled with doubt and still pressed on. They won't know about the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed when comfort begged you to stay. They won't know about the sacrifices, the sweat, the discipline. But they will feel the difference, because the energy of a transformed soul cannot be hidden. And so, the choice is before you. Will you waste another month drowning in distractions, or will you vanish into discipline, into silence, into transformation? 30 days. That is all it takes to rewrite the story of your life. Do not think for a moment that this path will be easy. When you step away from the noise will come hunting for you. Friends will ask where you've gone. Critics will whisper that you've changed. Your old habits will scream louder than ever, trying to pull you back into the comfort that once owned you. But remember this, every prison protests when you try to escape. Your distractions are chains, and chains rattle loudest when they're being broken. For 30 days, you must commit to a higher standard. Imagine a soldier sharpening his sword before battle, each stroke deliberate, each motion necessary, because he knows the day will come when dullness is death. That is what you are doing when you disappear. You are sharpening your mind, your spirit, your willpower, because life will test you the moment you step back into the world. And if you emerge dull, you will be cut down. But if you emerge sharp, no obstacle will stand. Napoleon Hill taught that every man and woman is a mind with a body, not a body with a mind. Meaning your true power does not come from muscle or appearance. It comes from thought, from vision, from the burning desire to shape destiny. But thought alone is nothing until it is disciplined. A wild horse has strength, but it is only when harnessed that it pulls the carriage forward. Your mind is that horse. For 30 days, you must tame it, train it, command it. Wake before the sun, and instead of reaching for a device that steals your focus, reach for the silence that builds it. Begin each day with a vision carved into your soul. See yourself as you intend to be, not as the world has told you to be. Visualize success not as a dream, but as a command you are giving to your subconscious. Edison saw the light before the world did. Ford saw the automobile in every driveway before anyone else believed. Disney saw kingdoms of joy when others saw only failure. And so must you. For 30 days, you live as though your vision already exists. But vision without action is hallucination. So you move. Discipline is your oxygen. Whether it is sharpening your body through sweat, sharpening your mind through study, or sharpening your character through sacrifice, you do not let a single day pass idle. Each morning, demand of yourself, what am I building today? Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Brick by brick, word by word, rep by rep, habit by habit, you lay the foundation of an unrecognizable future self. You will feel resistance. Your body will beg for comfort. Your mind will whisper excuses. Your environment will try to seduce you back into distraction. But hear me, every great figure in history stood in the same fire. Lincoln fought crippling doubt. Edison endured failure that would have broken lesser men. Ford was mocked and ridiculed. Disney was bankrupt and betrayed. Carnegie was a poor immigrant with nothing but a dream. They all faced resistance, but in the furnace of resistance they were forged. You are no different. Do not tell yourself 30 days is too short. In truth, 30 days is an eternity if lived with intensity. In 30 days, a seed can take root. In 30 days, an unfit body can awaken its strength. In 30 days, a weak mind can taste discipline for the first time. In 30 days, the fog can lift, the vision can ignite, and the old self can be left behind. 30 days is not the end, it is the spark, and a spark once lit has the power to burn down the forests of your old life and ignite the empire of your new one. But here is the secret most will never understand. When you disappear for 30 days, you are not vanishing from the world. You are vanishing from who you were. The people who know you now know a version of you that is unfinished, unsharpened, untested. They know the you that tolerated mediocrity. But after these 30 days, when you return, they will meet the you that does not beg for opportunities but creates them. They will meet the you that does not ask for permission but claims authority. They will meet the you that no longer follows but leads. Your silence will confuse them. Your discipline will intimidate them. Your transformation will threaten them. Some will say you are arrogant. Some will say you've lost yourself. But in truth, you have found yourself, and what they feel is the discomfort of seeing someone refuse to stay ordinary. Remember, mediocrity loves company, and when you step out of that company, it will try to drag you back. Do not let it, for 30 days, become obsessed with one question. What kind of person do I want to return as? Do not set out to simply look different. Set out to be different. A sharper thinker, a more disciplined worker, a clearer visionary, a more grateful soul, a more resilient fighter. When those 30 days are over, you will not need to announce it. the world will see it. They will feel it in the way you walk into a room, in the way you speak with calm authority, in the way you carry a fire that no one gave you and no one can extinguish. This is not a game. This is not a challenge for amusement. This is war. A war against distraction, against weakness, against your old self. And for 30 days, you must fight like your life depends on it, because it does. There will be moments in those 30 days when you feel the weight of isolation pressing down like a mountain. You will hear the voice of doubt creeping in. What if nothing changes? What if this effort is wasted? What if I come back the same? But those voices are not your enemy. They are your training ground. For every man or woman who has ever risen beyond average has had to wrestle with doubt in the silence of their own soul. Doubt visited Lincoln in the night. Failure sat with Edison as his experiments exploded and crumbled. Fear walked beside Ford when he mortgaged his future on a dream that no one else believed in. And yet, every single one of them kept moving forward, because doubt is not a signal to quit. It is proof you are walking where others have never dared. When you disappear, you are not retreating into comfort. You are marching into a battlefield more dangerous than any army, the battlefield of the mind. Every day, your thoughts will try to convince you that the old life was safer, that the old habits were easier, that your dream is too far. But you must answer those thoughts with action. You must crush them with consistency. You must remind yourself weakness is temporary, but regret lasts forever. Do not measure these 30 days in hours or minutes. Measure them in victories. The victory of waking up before the world. The victory of refusing temptation. The victory of choosing to read wisdom instead of drowning in distraction. The victory of sweat dripping down your face as your body bends, but your will refuses to break. Every small victory compounds, and after 30 days, you will look in the mirror and see not the person who once begged for motivation, but the warrior who created it. Gratitude must become your anchor. For in the solitude of 30 days, you will see clearly how much of life you once took for granted. The food you eat, the roof above your head, the chance to rise and fight another day, all of it becomes sharper in focus when the noise is gone. Gratitude is not weakness, it is power. A grateful man cannot be broken because he sees gifts in places others only see emptiness. Carnegie built an empire from steel, but he often said his fortune was not in his money, but in his mindset of appreciation. Gratitude gave him endurance. Gratitude will give you strength. And yet, gratitude does not mean complacency. To be thankful for what you have does not mean to settle where you are. Gratitude gives you the fuel to pursue higher ground without resentment, without bitterness, without envy. For 30 days, you will look at your life not as a prison, but as raw material. Steel in the hands of a master is molded into a sword. Clay in the hands of an artist is shaped into beauty. And life, in the hands of a disciplined soul, is transformed into destiny. Every night in those 30 days, reflect. Do not let your head touch the pillow without asking yourself, did I advance today? Did I sharpen my vision? Did I honor my discipline? Did I fight for the person I want to become? And if the answer is no, then rise again tomorrow with double the fire. These questions will cut you, but they will also guide you. For a life without reflection is a ship without a compass, always moving, never arriving. Resilience is born in repetition. The same action done with intention, repeated until it becomes identity. That is what these 30 days are for. When you first rise early, your body resists. When you first sit in silence, your mind resists. When you first deny yourself comfort, your spirit resists. But repeat it long enough, and resistance becomes routine. And routine becomes identity. Until one day, you are no longer forcing yourself to rise. You simply rise. You are no longer struggling to stay disciplined. You simply are disciplined. The old self dissolves in the furnace of repetition, and a new self emerges stronger, sharper, unstoppable. Adaptability must also be your companion. Do not think that discipline means rigidity. Life is fluid, unpredictable, filled with storms. A rigid tree snaps in the wind, but a rooted tree bends and survives. So must you. When distractions creep in, adapt without surrendering. When obstacles arise, shift your strategy but never your vision. This is how the greatest innovators thrived. Edison did not fail 1,000 times. He discovered 1,000 ways not to create a bulb, and each adaptation brought him closer. Disney was rejected by hundreds of bankers before one believed in his vision, but each rejection sharpened his pitch, his resolve, his dream. Adaptability is not weakness, it is mastery. When you disappear, you are training not just your body, not just your mind, but your spirit to bend and not break, to adapt and not abandon. And when you return, you will carry that adaptability into every battle of your life. People will see you face storms with calm, and they will not understand. But you will know you have weathered storms in solitude that made you unshakable. Do not wait for the world to validate your change. Do not expect applause for your silence or recognition for your discipline. The transformation you are building is not for them, it is for you. When you return, the world will feel the difference whether they praise it or not. Some will admire you. Some will envy you. Some will despise you. But none will be able to ignore you. For 30 days, you are carving out a version of yourself that demands respect. Not because of words, but because of presence. Presence is earned in silence, in discipline, in sacrifice. It is forged in the unseen battles, in the quiet victories, in the relentless repetition that no one else applauds. But when you return, your presence will speak louder than any announcement. There will come a point in these 30 days where you begin to feel a shift. At first it will be subtle. A calmness in your mind where there was once chaos, a strength in your step where there was once hesitation, a hunger in your chest where there was once numbness. This is the moment most cannot endure long enough to experience, for they quit before the tide turns. But if you endure, if you persist, you will awaken to a truth that cannot be unlearned. You were never weak. You were only undisciplined. The power you are discovering has always been within you. It was buried under years of distraction, smothered by doubt, dulled by comfort. But now, as you strip away the excess, you feel it. It is the same force that drove explorers across uncharted oceans, that built empires from nothing, that wrote symphonies and carved monuments into stone. It is the human spirit, unbreakable, relentless, divine in its ability to create. And when you disappear for 30 days, you reconnect with that spirit. Do not think this transformation is reserved for history's giants. No. Edison, Ford, Disney, Lincoln, Carnegie, they were flesh and blood, no different from you. What separated them was not luck, not birth, not circumstance. It was decision. They decided to step into the silence, to discipline their thoughts, to focus their energy until the world had no choice but to notice. You, too, can make that decision. 30 days is not asking for your life. It is asking for your commitment. But you must guard against a subtle enemy distraction disguised as productivity. Your mind will tempt you to multitask, to scatter your energy across too many pursuits, to confuse business with progress. Resist it. The oak tree does not grow mighty because it scatters its roots in every direction. It grows mighty because it drives them deep. For 30 days, pick your focus and drive it deep. Study one skill with intensity. Build one habit with precision. Pursue one vision with obsession. Depth, not breadth, is the path to transformation. Your environment will either sharpen you or dull you. In these 30 days, cleanse it. Remove the clutter that confuses your mind. Replace the voices that drain you with words that strengthen you. Read the books that expand you. Listen to the wisdom that uplifts you. Surround yourself, even in solitude, with greatness, for the voices you allow into your mind become the architects of your destiny. Napoleon Hill spent decades studying the most successful men of his era, and he discovered one universal law. We become the average of the influences we allow. So for 30 days, allow only excellence to shape you. You will also learn in this time the sacred art of saying no. No to the invitations that steal your energy. No to the habits that weaken your resolve. No to the cravings that chain you to mediocrity. Every no to weakness is a yes to strength. Every no to distraction is a yes to focus. Every no to comfort is a yes to growth. Saying no is not rejection, it is selection. And the man or woman who selects their path with discipline walks straighter, faster, further than the one who tries to please everyone. Patience will test you. Results will not arrive on your timetable. The body will not transform overnight. The mind will not sharpen in a single week. The spirit will not awaken after one meditation. But remember, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. The seed does not bloom on the first day. It roots itself in darkness before the world ever sees its beauty. So must you. For 30 days, root yourself deeply. The world may not notice your progress, but you will feel it. And when the bloom comes, it will come suddenly, overwhelmingly, undeniably. Pain will visit you. Do not fear it. Pain is not your enemy, it is your sculptor. Every rep that burns, every morning that feels heavy, every temptation you deny, Every tear you shed in silence. It is all pain carving away what does not belong, chiseling you into who you are meant to be. Michelangelo once said that the statue already exists within the marble. He merely chips away the excess. So it is with you. The person you are becoming already exists inside. Pain is the chisel. Discipline is the hammer. And every day of these 30 days you strike. When doubt returns, and it will, you must remember this: doubt killed more dreams than failure ever could. Failure is feedback, but doubt is paralysis. Failure shows you a new way, but doubt convinces you not to try. Do not give doubt a voice. Silence it with action. Silence it with progress. Silence it with the undeniable evidence that you are becoming more than you were. On the final stretch of these 30 days, you will begin to feel anticipation. You will look toward the end not with dread, but with fire, because you will know that you are no longer the person who began. You will feel it in your bones, in your breath, in the way your eyes lock onto your reflection. You will feel the old self fading and a new self rising. And that anticipation is not arrogance, it is destiny recognizing itself. Understand this: when you emerge, you will not need to announce your return. The world will announce it for you. They will see it in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you no longer chase but attract. Because a transformed soul does not beg, it radiates, it does not follow, it leads. It does not hope, it knows. And so, in these 30 days, you are not just changing habits. You are not just building discipline. You are not just seeking clarity. You are undergoing resurrection. By now, the fire within you is no longer a flicker, it is a blaze. And yet, this is the point where many stumble, because they mistake momentum for completion. They believe the transformation is already secure, that the work is already finished. But understand this: the last miles of the journey are the most dangerous, because they test whether your change is temporary or eternal. In the first days, discipline feels like rebellion. You rise earlier than the world expects, and you feel powerful. You refuse the distractions that once owned you, and you feel proud. You sweat through the struggle, and you feel progress. But in the final days, the pride fades, the applause is gone, the novelty is over, and what remains is the grind, the endless, uncelebrated grind. This is where the average man turns back. But this is also where the extraordinary man is born. The extraordinary man does not need applause, because he has built conviction. He does not need novelty, because he has built routine. He does not need external fire, because the fire already burns within. These last days of your disappearance will strip away every false motivation until only true purpose remains. And when you emerge, it will not be on the shaky legs of enthusiasm, but on the unshakable foundation of conviction, purpose. This is the word that carries you beyond 30 days. For without purpose, discipline becomes punishment, and solitude becomes suffering. But with purpose, discipline becomes fuel, and solitude becomes sanctuary. Ask yourself in these final days, why did I disappear? Why do I fight? Why do I rise when the world sleeps? Do not accept shallow answers. Dig deeper. Do not say, to be successful. Say instead, to fulfill the vision burning in me. To create the life only I was meant to create. To become the person my destiny demands. Walt Disney's purpose was not money. It was magic. Henry Ford's purpose was not automobiles. It was freedom of mobility for every man. Abraham Lincoln's purpose was not power. It was union, equality, the preservation of a nation's soul. And your purpose must be no smaller. It may not yet be clear. It may still be shaping itself in the silence. But it is there waiting. In these 30 days, you must seek it, find it, and embrace it. Understand this: the world does not bend to the man who lacks purpose. It bends to the man who refuses to be bent. It bends to the man who lives so aligned with his vision that compromise is impossible. For 30 days you have disciplined your body, sharpened your mind, cleansed your soul. Now, in these final days, you must marry all of it to your purpose. Without that marriage, you will return only improved. With it, you will return unrecognizable. And when you do return, the world will test you. It will poke at the new armor you have built. It will tempt you with the old habits, the old people, the old distractions. It will whisper, "See, nothing has really changed." But you will stand firm because you know change is not proven in the silence of solitude. It is proven in the noise of the world. That is why these 30 days matter. You have built a fortress within yourself so that when you step back into battle, you cannot be shaken. You will notice something remarkable. The world that once felt overwhelming will now feel small. The voices that once intimidated you will now sound weak. The distractions that once ruled you will now appear trivial. Why? Because you have elevated yourself. You are no longer playing the same game. You have raised the standard, and with that new standard, the old world can no longer hold you. Do not be surprised when people treat you differently. Some will admire you, some will envy you, some will distance themselves from you. That is the price of growth. When you rise, you expose the comfort of others. Your transformation is a mirror they cannot bear to look into, because it reveals their own stagnation. Do not shrink for their comfort. Do not dim for their acceptance. The light you have built in solitude was not meant to be hidden. Carnegie once said that the man who dies rich dies disgraced, not because wealth was evil, but because a life of potential wasted on comfort is an insult to the human spirit. You are not returning from these 30 days to waste what you have built. You are returning to unleash it, to take your sharpened mind, your disciplined body, your awakened spirit, and carve a mark into the world that cannot be erased. These 30 days are not the end. They are the beginning. They are the reset, the resurrection, the rebirth. When you return, your life does not go back to normal. Normal is dead. Normal was buried in the silence. What emerges is not normal. It is extraordinary. And extraordinary is not achieved in a lifetime. It is achieved every single day. That is the lesson of your disappearance. 30 days of focus teaches you that transformation is not some mystical event. It is simply the compound effect of daily choices. Choices that most are too weak to make. But you chose. And because you chose, you now carry a weapon the world cannot match: the habit of becoming. The habit of becoming is the ultimate power. For while others wait for motivation, you create it. While others wait for opportunity, you build it. While others wait for change, you embody it. And in this habit, you are free. Free from fear, free from doubt, free from the chains of mediocrity. So when you step out of those 30 days, do not say, "I am finished." Say, "I have begun." And from that beginning, let every day be a continuation of what you started. Let your life itself be proof that 30 days of silence, 30 days of discipline, 30 days of purpose can make a man or woman unrecognizable.